So we are here in House of Klajn in Klanjec. Here we are with Eva Nina Lampič, who just finished a 2-day workshop on one-to-one art. So I read the beginning of your website, and it says I'm Eva Nina Lampič. I make theater. This is my archive. I studied and graduate in Ljubljana and Sheffield. Sometimes I direct in institutions and sometimes I work off-scene theaters. I live in Berlin. I really love that introduction, so I copy-pasted from you. Okay. So who is Eva Nina Lampič right now? And what occupies you right now?
First, hi, hello.
Hi.
I currently work as a theater director. I will soon start with the rehearsals for a new production in repertoire theater. And then at the same time, in parallel, I'm in the process of writing a performance text for an experimental theater piece. And then at the same time, I just finished leading this workshop here, one-on-one workshop. And also I'm still looking for opportunities and trying to present my one-on-one to play it. So this is also still a big part of me.
Great.
Like different fields somehow.
So how was it for you these 2 days? For us in House of Klajn, it was really, really alive and creative.
It was for me also a very inspiring experience. It was the first time that I was doing like a 2-day one-on-one workshop or one-on-one workshop at all. And it was very inspiring to see how different people different people find interesting in the format, which areas do they explore, because one-on-one can be so many different things.
Yes, I wanted to say that it's amazing what it can become. The format, it can go in so many different ways.
It can go in so many different ways and directions, and I was inspiring by the diversity.
Yeah. So I'll go back a bit. I really love the phrase that you that you have on your web page. I make theater, because as I see theater, it's much more. It can be much more than just people sitting in the audience watching something that somebody direct and watching actors performed. And it seems to me that you have a broad field of interest in theater. What is your background and what are your fields of interest in theater?
As you mentioned or read before, I graduated theater direction in Ljubljana. Then I did a master in performance studies in Sheffield, and after that I worked a lot in as well as in institutions, as well as also in experimental off-scene theaters. So for me, this duality was always, I think I was interested in that, or kind of going back and forth. And so I sometimes work as a director, sometimes I'm part of temporary collectives, which work more on the devised pieces. Sometimes I'm in a position of a co-writer or a writer of a piece. I sometimes perform. Not necessarily because I really want to like perform, but somehow out of necessity, or somehow it just happens that I'm also like on stage or in the room, being in a position of a performer. Not. So somehow, for me, all these different fields are kind of complementary, or I'm inspired by different, or maybe I just cannot focus only on one, and like sometimes I feel okay, maybe it's nice to have a break and then go in a completely different context of making theater, just so maybe I think I'm inspired, like I take things back and forth from each different type of working.
And you have the experience of being on stage, being off stage, making it. And it's nice. For me as an actor, whenever I encounter a director who also is a performer, it's somehow it's for me I feel much more relaxed than there is someone who is judging just judging or just directing the idea, but also having the notion of how it is to create on the spot. That is always, I think.
I mean, for me, for example, specifically this experience of making one-on-one and also performing it so often. Like I performed it in both festivals, so it was really it was a lot of repetitions in a short time. So from this experience I think I learned a lot. Exactly for how, if I work now with actors, with other performers, I just learn a lot about, of course, from my own perspective, but I learned a lot or got an insight about their process, or what does it mean to be on stage? What does it mean to repeat? What does it mean to, where in the process are you when you're just like trying, when you become more more sure in the material, and when you can actually start to play. So I think like these phases are of course in a much like smaller micro level, like it's completely different as if you're part of the big production, but like I think I got something that I understand much more, maybe how it is on the other side. Within the larger process also.
Of course, with the rehearsals and creating process. And
because I remember some moments when I think I was very much at the beginning still, and then the feedback from outside was, it seems the structure works, it seems you know what you're doing, where you are, like from the outside it looked, you're confident, like it's, of course some details you still need to work on, but somehow, and from the inside I felt, I'm completely lost still. I mean, I know also, but I'm completely floating through it. So it was for me still quite some time that I got to the point that I'm like, okay, now I know. So this was somehow like an insight, I think, for.
It was just remembered once I was working with one director, and like 5 days before the opening night, he said to me, "You finally started to create on stage," which was interesting because also for me as an actor or performer, you learn everything, like the stuff that you can learn, but then you take it, and it doesn't happen always. Sometimes you're just repeating stuff, and sometimes you take it and you somehow become a creator, even though it's not just your creation, but it goes through you. So and in your one-to-one piece that you performed in a festival, one-to-one festival in Oulu in October, and also in Lisbon in November 2025. Your piece is called Inside, in which you lead us in the dream world, in the realm of imagination. So could you present it a bit, or tell us something about your piece? what is it about?
So I framed it as that it's a reconstruction of the past or future dream of audiences' memories and imagination. And as a setup is I framed it as so that it starts as a very mundane setup. So the audience enters the room, and it's like an office. So I have a table and a lot of papers, and also we go through a protocol. So not starting point. So the frame is that I help. That this is the service that I provided. People came and I helped them reconstruct the dream.
Oh, so it's the service that provides reconstruction of a dream.
Yeah, that was that was. I mean, I don't say it so directly, but this is my position.
Your position.
How I sit in the space and how I meet the people and how I'm in contact with them.
So it's an institution for dreams making.
Sort of an institution. Yeah. But I wanted also that it's not. I wanted to create this space, and when the audience enters, they somehow need to figure out actually what's happening and when they are. And I wanted to play also with this, right? Like it's dreams or like it's different realities. So maybe you also don't know really, or maybe don't remember, or I wanted to play a little bit with ambiguity also.
Okay, so you are coming to you're coming to investigate in your dream, but you're coming into an office.
Yeah, it's an office. Yeah, sort of like I have an archive, and also I say, that I play also with that people actually came back. Maybe this is that people. I don't need to go maybe into much details.
And then the recreation or creation of a dream starts.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, first we have. First we need to do some tests, and So we have some introduction. I need to do some tests. I need to ask some questions, and then it starts. The reconstruction of a dream. Yeah.
I was a spectator of the one-to-one play also, and I have to say it was. I was very curious, and I was excited all the time. Where are we going now? And and how did the piece originate? Have you dreamt it, or how did you? What inspired you to do?
I think it's a few different things. I mean, in a way, the piece is sort of like a advancement of a different show that I did in the past some years ago. Also, already when during some years ago during my studies, where I did a one-to-one when me and the audience, we were imagining together things in space, like in the site-specific space around us. So it was co-creating an imaginary, fictional, imagined space projected on the real space. But it was only like as a game, sort of. It was really one exchanging and co-creating together equally.
Okay.
And this connects to my interest of I'm interested in imagination, or that how we can imagine things or people in the space around us. I like this coexistence of what's real space and what do we imagine, and what's kind of coexistence of these different realities.
3D.
3D, 4D. I don't know how many D, 5D. And so then for when I was making the piece then for the festival, or the question was then how to make it more, because this was sort of like as a game, but it felt like it's an improvisation game, but maybe not really a performance. Or I was wondering how can I do it more, either like more personal or more that there is more reason why why this person who comes, and that it's not so random. I wanted to make it more. I went more into the why this person, why are we doing this? What's the reason? I somehow and somehow through these questions and through investigating this focus, then and I was also wondering, that why are we seeing things? Why do we want to see things? And somehow then dreams, the idea of dreams seemed it fits. Also because it offers this logic, dreams are, I like to play with, because it's imagination, I think is, things can change at any moment, so you can really jump from different locations, different people. There is like the logic of absurdity or humor, so and I find that inspiring or interesting. So somehow many different aspects somehow came together. Yeah.
It's interesting how in dream, when we do theater or watch movies, or you always trying to find something convincing that this is plausible or this is not plausible, but every day we dream and completely exactly. Random things happen. And also you recently somebody told me, I was telling someone my dream, and there was this person, and this guy was that I know from the real life was not so nice to me, and then the person said, but it's all you. And it's so interesting when you think of roles in the dream, that there are different roles and characters, but it's all you. So all facets of your own personality.
And maybe one level also that came into this was also my recent interest in magic. So like this illusion, magic, tricks field, and so it felt also that here that it also fits together. Because there is a space which is actually real, some things you imagine, and then I was looking for what's in between, and I think the field of magic offers this field that connects. You don't know if it really happened or it didn't, or is it real or not.
Yeah, have I seen it or no?
Yeah, or did I just imagined, or this is not possible, or so it felt that somehow organically
it connects.
That this also connects. And this is why when I said in the beginning that people enter as it's the office, I think I was looking then for something that's kind of grounding these dreams and magic and the world that it's like intangible. So this is why I think I then came also to a point that I wanted to set it up in an office so that it's very grounded, or like very the opposite
it's
of
not,
loose. It's
double
like
information.
And
Oh, I really enjoyed your piece, and as I heard from other spectators, they really love it. So you say it's not your first one-to-one experience, that you did it before, and what have you noticed? What is the difference? What is special about working in one-to-one format? What can it? Is the performer just the performer? Is it so because it's not again somebody enters and you start to just mechanically perform, or not so mechanically, doesn't matter, but there is like roles are different a bit.
I think I like it. I mean, what's special about it is because you're so immersed in the space. I mean, or in the space or in the situation, and so much connected with the other person. this I find it super interesting. Like
Mhm.
there's really no distance,
Mhm.
like somehow when it starts, you're immediately, completely immersed
Mhm.
in it. So I think the relation between now the performer and the audience, it's somehow more, I don't know, you're more together or you're more coexisting together. Like
Yeah.
in a way, I mean, still it's a like it's kind of a paradox, like because it's a performance and still it's.
But you also have to support this person much more than in ordinary theater.
Yeah, that's true.
You somehow maybe you care about the people, but they bought a ticket, they're sitting there, they're watching you, and here you have to welcome them. You have to see if they are reachable, if they are relaxed, you have to make some kind of contact with them.
Yeah, it goes for a different way of like engagement, or I think it's more like as it's an experience also more. I would say you maybe don't go to. You could say, I go to see a theater piece, but I think maybe for one-to-one, you maybe more say you experience
it, and maybe that's why one-to-one can also be used in some other, like not just art, but in some other setups like elderly homes, or you can use it as also a therapeutic tool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's also something about that. It's so because it depends, of course, on the piece and the type of the piece. But there is an option, that you design it in a way, or like easier option. Maybe you can design it in a way that you can make it accessible. I mean, you can go. It may be easier to go to places, to people, in places where maybe people cannot travel so easily, or it's like more difficult to go somewhere. So it's also something about that format that can be accessible and that can adjust to a person also. I mean, if you're part of the festival, then of course you need to stick to a certain schedule. But if you are doing in a different setting, you can also then adjust. You can make it. You can take more time, for example, or if some. Which I think it's like. It's somehow you make it. You can more adjust it to the audience.
Yeah, we always in mainstream theater we are trying to reach this time goal. Like it has to be that time that it says in the program, and that how we rehearsed it. And I never thought about, because it's very hard to kind of feel the collective energy of 100 people or 200. But sometimes the performances last longer or sometimes shorter, and it's probably because of what happens between the performers and the audience. Because somehow sometimes it feels like it's half an hour long, even though maybe it's 10 minutes or 5 minutes longer. But something happened in that which you can maybe feel in one-to-one.
Definitely. How the time stretches or time feels. It's just because of this intensity, I think, or because it's just a different. It's like a bit of a time travel. Like it's not a perception of time changes.
So you finished now the 2-day workshop with five. There are five. Five different artists from a different. Genre, or from different art fields. I wonder what did you notice was what is special for you for this format? Have you discovered some particularities of the one-to-one format, What is so special about it? If you, I mean, okay, there is an intimate moment, but there are also different varieties of entering the piece.
Yeah. I mean, like I think it's super. I mean, for the case of, for this, in case of the workshop, I was trying to somehow offer some anchors or some pillars, just sort of that you kind of are a little bit forced to think more. What are the special aspects of it? Do I say a little bit more about it?
Yes. I mean, how I perceive it. I wasn't in the workshop all the time, but people in our house, they were everywhere, in the rooms, in the venue, in the garden, in the car. So this is also one thing that one-to-one piece can can easily jump into completely different space.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like one of the pillars that I thought why it's special. I mean, one is of course because it's only two people. So this relationship is of course special, and it's always then a question in what kind of a power relation is happening between two people, I think, or in what kind of roles are they
equal, or they are
who has the, I mean, if you play with that, who has the power, it can be, the performance can be structured in a way that the performer has more power, can also be the opposite, that actually the audience has more power. It can be very equal, or all in between, or it can change also in between, and it's always a question in which kind of position. I think we talked a lot also about to think in what kind of position you put the other person, like you need the help from them, they need to help you, or you offer a service, or just saying as how to think of it. I mean,
and also the performer can ask a spectator to perform. Also an option.
I mean, the audience is always usually, asked to collaborate in piece to a greater or lesser degree. I think it's on the spectrum, but somehow you, without even questioning, you somehow are just. I mean, when you with the first contact, I think you're already somehow collaborating, right? Like, I mean, it's somehow almost impossible to, So this I find it special. It's inevitable. I mean, sometimes people can say, I don't like interactive theater, or I don't, or people have fear of. But here somehow it just happens. Before you can think, you're somehow just like in the situation. I find it super interesting and special.
And it's not interactive in a normal way. It's not like you're going to be picked. You are already picked. You're already in.
And it's also, it's different because it's like nobody's watching you. It can also, performance can also happen outside or in a public space. So. But still, you're somehow there is no like audience per se who, you're not, you're not performing for another audience. Maybe if it's a public space, people can see you also, but that's a different situation. And I think that can be, both. It can be freeing, so you can feel more free, or it can also be, I don't know, more awkward, or you feel under pressure. It's all, I think it's, there is a spectrum. And you mentioned different locations before. So I think the space, or like the location or the situation, but if I say it's also super important here, because you can, I think where you do it, it really affects what you want to do, or like wherever the starting point is. So I also opened that field, that it can happen outside, it can happen inside, where inside it happens, or trying to see also how the location can inspire you, or because the location is your setting. This is your stage, or as soon as the performance starts, everything around you is part of it. So it's important to pay attention to that.
Great. Now, I was witnessing the one-to-one festivals, and then you see the audience like, oh, I'm going on the 5th floor, then I'm going to this room. Oh, we have to go now there and there. And so in one day you can see so many different forms, and this is what we witnessed these 2 days also. You see completely different forms, completely different approaches in time that is so dense. That I really loved.
It felt like that at the end of the workshop we had sort of like a small,
a festival.
There was a small festival.
Good, great. It's so.
And it's nice to because there are so many options and people have really different approaches, and it's like because it's such a micro format, you can really then. Just like go and try one specific direction that you're interested in. Then the festival, in quotes, our offers, both the festival that you mentioned and also mini festival as part of the workshop. Offers such a diverse experience, and it's it really can shifts you and puts you in a very different, gives you many different inspirations, insights, which I also like a lot.
And so for the end, thank you for this talk, but I wonder, so you now have widened your one-to-one experience during this last year, and you said you're directing a play in Ljubljana, and the thing that you're also preparing in Berlin. Do you think that this one-to-one work is inspiring you to somehow include the thing that you noticed or that you came up with in your future work? Is there something that you could take it out and apply it in?
I think it's maybe not directly or like indirectly or in terms of I think of the presence of actors on stage, or like I think just the type of maybe how people perform, how actors perform or act. I think it's something about this quality that I'm inspired from one-on-one, and I want to extend also, even if it's a play for a bigger audience. This, I mean, in terms, just maybe it sounds like as a paradox, but I like something about the equality of how we are together. Like in one-on-one, you really, as I said, even if you're not, somehow you are, of course you can also play with a big power distance. But I think I could say that in one-on-one, it's something about how the performer and the audience are together. Like you need to be connected. I think you need to be
doing it together. You're doing it together.
You need together, even if the powers are shifting the dynamic. Like you somehow need to be together, and in that sense, I feel it as some kind of an equality or documentary feel, or like I don't know how I would. And so I think it's also. So I think also when I do other pieces, I like how the people on stage are, what kind of relation are they establishing with me as an audience, or how they are with me. it's something about the connection.
Yeah, because I just somehow thought that while watching one-to-one, I was never thinking, okay, it's not always performing arts in one-to-one art. It can be a lot of things, but I never was thinking about the quality of acting, let's say.
Yeah.
I said, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about what is going on and how it will resolve or unfold. But I never thought, oh, he's acting so badly or so nice.
Yeah.
And this is something I often think about in theater.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's like classic theater or post-dramatic but it always there is always a distance.
Yeah.
Not from the reality, but there is some distance. I don't know if, distance from the audience and performance. There is a distance. But here there is no distance. And of course it's something to do with the light, something to do with the setting. But I'm always asking myself why we on the stage are not like, hi, hello.
It's something in the position, I think.
Yeah,
and even like not just, many performances are now using also this, it's right, like you say, hello, I'm this, I'm doing that. You kind of on the conversational level, you on a text, verbal level, you say this, but I'm thinking also, or I guess what you're talking also about, if it's something, it's a position, how the person on stage positions themselves, I think, in terms of, because being on a stage, it's you have a lot of power there, and I think it's a question how you deal with that. And even if you play, we are together, you can. I think it's two levels. You can play it, but I think it's something in the core, or something deeper down, where you can position yourself completely above the audience, or you are in a... Wow. And I think this is something that
it's worth exploring.
Or it's something that I'm I know it's possible, and I would like to explore that also in the pieces that are not just like
Great, thank you for this conversation. I think we opened
thank you.
A lot of interesting things for one-to-one audience, and also for the one-to-one lovers, lovers of one-to-one form. And thank you for this talk. And thank you, and see you for our listeners. See you in the next episode.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.